to the Soul Fire podcast, where healing is raw, truth is sacred, and your story gets to burn and rebuild in the same breath. I'm Power Coach Alishia, pattern breaker, soul mirror, fire starter, and the unapologetic voice of the burn it down and rise anyways revolution. We don't fluff your wounds, we don't filter your truth, and we don't water down healing so that people stay comfortable. You've spent way too damn long proving your worth to people who only love the version of you that stayed small, quiet, and convenient. If you've ever swallowed your truth to keep the peace, shrunk yourself to stay chosen, or disappeared in your life, this season isn't just a reset or another motivational podcast. This is where you reclaim your voice, your fire, and your fucking self. I'll give you the truth that heals, frameworks that hold, and soul codes that will change how you live, lead, love, and rise. Lovey, come forward. It's time for you to embody your wholeness. And I'm not only leading this season, I'm living it right beside you. Let's fucking go. Listen, you gotta speak what's sacred and release what's survival. We are continuing through the Speaking the Language of Your Soul theme for the month, the Language Reborn series. This is our second episode in the Language Reborn series. And today we're talking about emotional exhaustion. And it's not your identity. It's a signal from your soul. Emotional exhaustion isn't just about burnout. It's literally sacred soul feedback that you are ignoring, okay? You're here to shatter the belief that tired equals broken. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not disconnected. You're just fucking exhausted. And you're not exhausted because you're doing too much. You're exhausted because you're holding too much. I used to need to take these decompression times after a long day of work. You know, my head felt like really pressury, right? And it was holding a lot. It never fucking dawned on me that my head felt like there was so much pressure from everything on my mind and everything that I was holding emotionally and soulfully. And so I needed the decompression moments, right? But that pressure, it was crazy. I would just feel this crazy pressure in my head. It never dawned on me that I was working too many hours. I was staring at the computer too long. My soul / my body was saying, like, this isn't for you. This isn't the way to get where you want to go. What got you here won't get you there, right? You used to grind to build your $500,000 company. You used to put in this effort. It used to feel this way. You used to show up this way. But like, my body was literally saying, but this isn't how we do it anymore. And I'm over here like, fuck you, this is how we do it because this is the only way I know how to do it. So shut up and let's go, right? And it never dawned on me either that anytime I would be in this quote unquote needing to decompress or a different feeling, meaning overcapacity, I'm carrying too much weight from too many people, from too many places. I have too many things I need to do. It takes too much time to do it all. There are too many questions being asked, too many hands holding, people holding their hands out, too many people standing around waiting on me to fill in the blank. That's when I'm over capacity. So decompression felt like, oh my God, there is just so much pressure in my fucking head from all the work I've been doing and, attempting to build businesses and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I need to get decompressed. / overcapacity was overwhelm. Like, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. Well, instead of being honest with myself at the decompression needs, and like I said, recognizing that was my mind, my body, my soul, my everything saying, this is too much time, this is too much work, this is too much back to back to back. You're not giving yourself enough breaks. You're not out in the sun. You're not getting what you need. You're just fucking grinding. We can't do that. We don't do that. And it's not going to get you to where you want to go. I just kept doing it. I'd reset. It took me about, 20, 30 minutes after I'd get off work, sometimes an hour, decompress, reset, and then I'd be, ready for like the next, right? But I would make it through. And then anytime I was over capacity and I was in a crazy overwhelm and it was like, I don't have any more space. I don't have any more space. I don't have any more space. Instead of honoring that I didn't have any more space, I would take on more, and I would do my best to clean it up, and I would do my best to figure it out, and I'd do my best to organize it, and I'd do my best to do and do and do and do and complete and do and answer and do and complete and do and answer and do and remind and do and complete and do and remind and do and answer and do. And why am I saying it like that? Because that's what it was like. Oh, I'm reminding them of this. Did you do that? What's going on here? I'll take care of that there. I got to take care of this here. I got to take care of that there. Did you do this here? And then meanwhile, these three people are fucking asking me questions. Hey, I need to know this. Could you do that? Could you take care of this? What about this, Mom? What about that, Mom? This thing. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And it never just dawned on me that it wasn't my job to hold that all. It wasn't my job. I don't have little fucking kids. My kids are 16 and 19 years old, and they have been completely self-sufficient with the ability to handle their own shit and do what they need to do for a very long time. I raised extremely independent children. What I didn't do was build independent relationships with my partners, G included. And so there was this kind of energy of two grown-ass fucking men needing me for everything, to direct them, to know, like all of the things. Two kids that, you know, were doing their own thing, but then still it was like, well, what are you going to do about this? Can you do that? What about this? What about that? There were still those things there. And instead of leading them to the answer, leading them to get their own answer, guiding them to step forward in independence, somewhere along the lines, I shifted how I parent to taking it onto my plate and doing whatever I could and then dropping it back to them, instead of going, no, this is yours and this is what you need to do about it, you know? But I think the biggest thing in this for me, and we'll bring it back to you in just a second. And I'll always do this in the episodes. I'll wrap it back around. I'll give you some work at the end that you can take and do and, to implement and like to start embodying and shifting and rising. But I need you to understand where this comes from, because I felt that I was broken. I felt that I was being lazy. I felt that it was about me being disconnected. I felt that it was exhaustion and overwhelm. But what I realized, it was just that I was holding too much. But then what came after I was holding too much, I felt like if I start having anyone and everyone hold more, then I'm not doing my job here, like what I was born for, my purpose. Because I can't protect them from their mistakes. I can't save them from their decisions. I can't do the things that I was doing if I'm not holding as much. And when I was over capacity and I was breaking down and I was falling apart, like I was saying in either, episode 1 or the opening episode, I think it was the opening episode, I would just get told, it's going to be okay. You're strong. You've got this. You will figure it out. You always do. I believe in you. If there's anybody that can do it, it's you. Alishia, you're going to get through this. Alishia, you are the smartest person I know. Alishia, you're the strongest person I know. I am so proud of you for how hard you worked. I'm so proud of you for all the effort that you've given. I'm so proud of you for how strong you are. I'm so proud of you for not allowing that to break you down or to make you have a breakdown. And so these things, I'm over capacity, right? I've had my emotional call. I've asked for the support. I've asked for this help. I've said like I'm holding too much, and I'm getting these sound bites that I just shared with you. And what those sound bites did for me being over capacity was layer on more weight, make me feel more overwhelmed, make me feel way more inadequate. I never felt seen, heard, and understood. And I never felt like anybody gave a fuck about my feelings. And so what that ended up feeling like was being alone with people all around me. And I constantly felt that way. And I thought that I felt that way because they didn't care. Like I felt like they didn't care, but I felt like I felt alone because they didn't care. But the truth was, I didn't care enough about me to make sure that I was full. Like fully full, soulful. Literally soulful, right? I didn't make sure that I had what I needed so that I could articulate to them, like, this doesn't work. I need this instead. When you say this, I feel like this. Even though you could mean that, this is how I felt. And how I feel will trump whatever it is that you mean. So if you want me to feel this that you said you mean, this is how you got to verbalize it. This is what I need instead. See, when you're over capacity, when you feel like all that pressure in your head, right? When you're pushing and carrying, taking on more and being all of that, what ends up happening is you can't articulate what it is you truly need. So people start operating with you based on response. Okay, she's acting like this, I'm going to do that. Okay, she's acting like that, I'm going to do that. Okay, here we go. She's freaking out. She's yelling. Okay, if I do this, okay, I can't get her to calm down. So I'm going to go through my cycle of different things that I say and make promises until I get to a point where she calms down. So what ends up happening is people are in reactive mode to you. And maybe you're not a yeller and da-da-da. You're different. You're shut down. Okay, she's shut down. Now I need to do this. The problem is the people around you are guessing. And as a woman who always says what she needs, I always thought it was so fucking stupid that I was saying what I needed, but nobody was listening to me. It's like, I literally am telling you what I need. I'm telling you how this impacts me, and I'm telling you what I need you to do instead, and you're still not listening. And so then I ended up becoming this over-explainer, saying things from 17 different angles, and earning and proving and begging. Tell me if you feel me. This repeat cycle of saying the same things all the time, and nothing moves, nothing shifts. And if it does, it's for 5 minutes per se, and then it's right back to the same stupid fucking cycle. And you're getting frustrated with the people around you, feeling like they don't care enough to rise because you've already shared. But the truth is what you're sharing isn't what they need to hear in order to move with you, in order to rise with you, in order to connect with you, to shift with you, to walk with you, to be right next to you, to run side by side. What you're communicating isn't what they need to hear. You're communicating from a place of destruction. You're communicating from a place of overcapacity, overwhelm. I have nothing left. And so what you're communicating is language that says, I need you to do whatever the fuck it is that you need to do, because I can't handle all of this fucking shit, and what you're doing isn't enough. Regardless of what you're actually saying, that's what you're saying. So then the person, generally your partner, is moving into operating and doing what they think you need, but it's not quite working. And if it works for a minute, it falls again, right? Remember, emotional exhaustion isn't your identity. It's a signal, but you are using it as your identity. You've trained everyone based on that emotional exhaustion identity, how to operate with you. This is a signal from your soul to rise the fuck up for yourself, to choose you, to make different decisions, to learn how to actually stand in your power, right? To embody this queen royalty energy, and then let everyone else do whatever the fuck they're going to do, and whatever the consequences come from that, they come. And yes, if a partner doesn't decide to rise as you stand in your power and you communicate powerfully instead of from a place of turmoil and like, I have nothing else I can do here, and you start communicating from a place of love and light and peace and power and really positivity and honor and value and respect of yourself and them, then they can see what it is you really need. And they can start shifting, and they can start embodying the energy and the soul of who they really are, and not this like response mechanism that they show up as. And so, yeah, I am telling you that the reason why you're not being met with the energy and the feelings and the help and the support that it is that you want is because the way that you're communicating it says, do whatever you can, because I'm falling apart and nothing you're doing is working. Or you're avoiding and shutting down, and they're like, oh my God, and they go into panic mode, and they're doing everything that they can there. Now, this isn't always so cut and dry, but I will say that there is a 99% chance that the reason why you're over capacity and you're holding too much is because you're not choosing you and healing you and standing in what it is you know your soul needs, how it is you know you need to operate, giving to you what you truly need, and then getting to a calm place and learning how to communicate with the people around you, what it is you need, what the boundaries are, and what you're not willing to do in order for them to rise. So there was a while there. It only took a couple of days. So when I say a while, I don't really mean that long. It was like, 2-3 days where G or Daniel would say something. And I would say, hold on. That right there is not mine. I can't do anything about that. Like, that's not my job. That's for you to decide. It's like, will you please? No, you should be looking in the mirror and asking yourself that. Give me another chance. I don't need to give you another chance. You need to give yourself another chance. You need to give yourself the chance to be the person, to show up, to come into the soul that keeps attempting to emerge, but your shadow self keeps shutting down. It's not me who needs to give you another chance. I've given you 100. It's you who needs to give yourself the chance to rise. See, when I talk in that language, that puts the ball back in their court and I pull back. Yes, it feels uncomfortable for them. Yes, it's like, oh my God, is she leaving me? Yes, it creates this like, why is she acting like that? Because normally, well, give me another chance. We're arguing in circles and I'm bitching about why and like, I'm giving you this chance and that chance, you fuck this up, I'm coming from that angle. That used to be. But now it's like, I'm not the one that needs to give you another chance. It's you who needs to look in the mirror and give yourself a chance. Please don't leave. I'm not leaving. You've been leaving yourself and walk away from yourself this entire time. I'm just not begging you to come back anymore. This is now your job. It's these fucking gut punches after gut punches after gut punches where I'm dropping what they're saying back in their lap and they've got to decide. Oh, no. That isn't mine and I'm not going to take that. Here's what I will say. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now the rest of that, that's for you to decide what you want to do with. And so that's me pulling back from holding too much. So listen, Queen, if this episode lights something up, don't just sit with it. Come rise with us. The Soulfire podcast is your weekly reminder that healing isn't about fixing who you are. It's about remembering who the fuck you've always been. And if you're craving more than just words, if you want community, authentic power, momentum, and soul transformation, then I want you to come join us in the free Star-Guided Soul Healing community. This isn't another group. It's a vortex of women who are done pretending, who are reclaiming their power, their voice, and their divine assignment, and who know they were never meant to do this alone. Inside, we speak truth. We rise with soul-coded frameworks like Rise Times 3 and AUA, plus your own soul-coded values. We break patterns, we burn illusions, and we build empires because we rise. So come be witnessed, come be held, come be at home. Check out the link in the show notes. And please remember to subscribe, share, and send this podcast to a queen who's ready to rise. Now, back to the fire. When it comes to like the old identity is like the strong one, the fixer, the container. As you can tell, I'm the container who holds everything. I'm the strong one. I can hold it all. I got the strength and I'm going to help you. Like, it was so fucked up that I got to a point that one of my partners could hurt me, or either one of them, both of them could hurt me. And after the frustration, the irritation, the disconnection, and we're talking within hours, and maybe I'm not talking to them, maybe I'm taking time for myself. In that entire time that I'm taking for myself, I was so fucked up that I still wanted to help them. And when I say so fucked up, I just mean things were misaligned, right? It's like, no, they hurt me. They made me feel unloved. They treated me like I was unloved. They didn't show up for me when I did an emotional call. They dismissed me or, whatever. And they disregarded what I had to say. And they acted like my feelings that I just so vulnerably shared wasn't worth shit because they cheerleaded me or they went into defense mode because they made it about them. And I was dropped on my fucking ass, right? And that sucked, but I would still go back and do my best to help them. And I would be the one to repair. And I would be the one to make the plan. And I would be the one to carry it forward. And I would be the one to do the work. And they didn't have to do hardly anything. So I continued being the strong one, the fixer, and the container, even in the conversations where they didn't show up, even at the timelines of the relationships where they didn't hold to their end of the agreement, to what they committed to, I was still going back and picking up the pieces. Listen, if someone's going to come back and pick up the pieces when you keep breaking shit, then you're just going to keep breaking shit because you know that they're going to come and pick up the pieces. It doesn't help them at all. And so this is the identity death part of this episode, okay? That's where we're at right now, is this identity of emotional exhaustion. It has to go, and you need to take it as a signal from your soul. Because being the strong one isn't soul. It's a survival role that was picked up so that you can stay safe and needed. So if you can relate to me and you're the strong one, it's not a good thing. Because then you use that strength so much that when you're breaking down, you feel like it's weakness instead of realizing you're holding too much. Being the strong one becomes your personality, but that's not your truth. That's your training. That's the way you've trained yourself. It's the way I trained myself. And I had to unlearn it. Like, I'm still strong as fuck. Don't get me wrong, right? I still hold that power. Except now, the power is evenly distributed and more distributed towards me than anyone else. So I guess it's not evenly distributed. It's tipped towards myself, because that's more important than anything. I got to take care of me. I give myself that strength. I give myself that honor. I give myself that soul vow. I give myself the everything. Not just journaling and meditating and good in, but like deep, deep, deep soul work through astrology and universal powers and energies and like all of these things. Like, it's deep work. And that's why I created Soulstrology, which again is soul healing and astrology, because you're going to learn to do this deep work and heal once and for all. That's what it is about. Okay. And as I keep sharing with you, you know, like, you're so strong, you're the strongest person that I know, I realized it became a trap when it was being cheerleaded to me instead of them hearing my feelings. Instead of them hearing that I was breaking down. I can be talking to you right now in this episode, and I can think back, as so like flashing through my mind, so many moments in my mind where I was breaking down and having these emotional calls and sharing my soul and being vulnerable. And it was met with either cheerleading or dismissal or disregard or defensiveness. And then I did my best to strength through it, right? Over capacity hold through it. Needing to decompress because it just felt like everything was going to explode out of me through it. And I just kept, strengthening through it. And then boom, an overnight breakdown, destroying complete spaces, or screaming and yelling at the top of my lungs, or just losing it. And over the years, I've gotten those like destroying rooms and like screaming and yelling at the top of my lungs really under control. But just because I wasn't physically breaking things and I wasn't literally screaming and yelling, now I was basically internalizing all of that. And it happened because the people around me, whether it was my soulmate Daniel at the time before, Divine Partner G came into the picture, or with them both here, the breakdown, whether outside or inside, was coming from the fact that the people who were closest to me weren't listening to my soul cry. They weren't listening to my pain. They weren't listening to what I needed. Everything was either about them or them cheerleading me back to wholeness. And that's just not how it works. It was them using my strength as a band-aid instead of my strength as a gateway to say, hey, you are always strong. You are always holding it together. You are always holding it together for everyone and carrying everyone. And it's okay to say, I can't carry anything right now. I can't carry anything today. And, they've got to have the emotional intelligence. They've got to have the self-awareness and all of that built in, which is another podcast episode that I've done, especially in season 3. However, maybe just going, you don't have to be strong right now. I can see on you that you're breaking down. I can see on you that you're not doing well. Like, that would have been okay too, because they could see that, right? And so it's crazy that over the years, like, that's where the breakdowns, that's where the physical destroying rooms, screaming and yelling, that's why things would get escalated, because I wasn't being held while expecting to hold it all of the time at the highest of levels, even if I'm over capacity, with all of my strength, regardless of how I felt. And what happened was, as I continued to ignore the fact that my emotional calls weren't being met and steamrolling in conversations and over explaining from every angle you could possibly think of, I got to the point where I just started disconnecting in a way that would never be reopened. We would never be able to reconnect. And when I finally listened to myself and what was going on, I realized that I would have to be willing to let go of these relationships if they weren't willing to rise up. But my biggest shift was, how could they grow and be different in these relationships when all I have been doing is talking at them this whole time and attempting to teach them how to work with me, but I wasn't clear within myself. I hadn't chosen myself at the deep soul level to where I could express things in a way that said, hey, this is what I need from you. And I understand if you're not able to give it, I do. I'm just letting you know, though, I don't accept anything less than this. So if you can't give it, I respect that with all of me, and I love you with all of me, and I will love you forever. I just won't be with you. Because this isn't something that I'm willing to, concession on or edit on or, shrink down to fit you. Because that's what I've been doing this whole time, and it's killed my soul. So we're to the point that we rise together, or we just understand that this isn't going to work. And I do take ownership of the fact that I trained you to love me in one way. And now I'm saying, hey, that way doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. It's just not helping me. It's not connecting me. I don't feel loved, even though you're doing what I taught you to do. I understand that I did that. And I also understand that I'm not willing to live that way going forward. So I just need you, and you don't have to decide right now. You don't have to think right now. You don't have to say it right now. I need you to take some time and process what I've said and decide what you want to do with this information, because what we've been, we can no longer be. Because I'm no longer going to dishonor myself that way. I'm no longer going to carry things that aren't mine to hold. I'm no longer going to literally sacrifice my soul, light and love and power and energy and the beautiful version of me that I want to show up as every single day in order to hold shit that make me the evil side of me. Being able to communicate that. And, that's what shifted for me. So the one thing I want you to know is what emotional exhaustion is really trying to tell you. Okay? Because when you listen to it, when you start becoming emotionally exhausted, instead of being ashamed of it because you can't hold more, because I feel you, I've been there, you need to shift it into something you listen to. So when you feel exhausted, listen, tune in. What does my soul need? What's going on? What am I holding that's not mine? This is where you turn burnout into honorable data. This is where you turn burnout into something that you can actually use. Because when you're exhausted and you're burning out, your soul isn't giving up. She's trying to get your fucking attention. Okay? She's trying to get your attention. Feel it in your body. What do you notice in your own body or behavior that tells you something is off? Listen to your body. Your energy is telling you. It is speaking up. If you feel sad, if you feel disconnected, if you feel that knot in your stomach, if your heart is racing, if you feel why? What is it telling you? Did you just make a decision, or are you about to make a decision that is in dishonor of yourself? Is someone asking something of you that your answer is a hell no, but for whatever reason, because it's your partner or your child, you feel obligated to do it? Are you taking action because it's something that you feel like you need to do, but your soul is saying no? When you finally listen, you will be able to step into the power of who you are, and you will be able to shift. But until you do that, you won't be able to. And you're going to be stuck here. You're going to be stuck in this energy, and it's going to be kicking your ass more than you can imagine. Okay? So I want you to know that. I want you to know that you have a choice, right? You can keep believing that when you're exhausted and you're burnt out, that your soul's giving up. But the truth is, she's trying to get your attention. And the more that you ignore it, the worse this is going to be for you, the harder it's going to be in the future. And the bigger the chance that you never build and honor and connect with and choose the woman that is the beautiful part of you. Like, your sacrifice for that is very, very, very high. Okay? So I'm going to give you my path and what I did to respond differently when exhaustion hits. And this is about the recovery with the sovereignty. Okay? Recovery with sovereignty. Now, it might sound like it's avoidance. Just pay attention though. It's what you're doing when you step away with yourself that makes it the recovery with sovereignty. Like, if you shut yourself in a room, turn on the show, lay in bed and veg out, like, that's avoidance. Okay? But I want to help you move from overwhelm into regulation and from default into choice. So first, let it be what it is. Let it be what it is. Let yourself feel whatever you are feeling. Let it be what it is. And don't weaponize shame. Just choose compassion. Choose compassion for yourself like you do everyone else. When they're fucking off and they should be rising up, somehow you find that compassion, right? Somehow in the fight, you find it in you to figure out how to come back from the edge, even when that person hurt you, didn't give a fuck, defended it, treated like you don't matter, and made you feel like you needed to earn and prove yourself more. If you can give that person compassion and ask yourself, what can I do to make this right and make it better? You damn sure can do it for yourself and not weaponize the shame against yourself to push yourself further down. Next, root in breath, in truth, and in now. Go to YouTube, search for Breathe with Sandy, and start doing breath work. You really want to heal? You really want to recover with sovereignty? You really want to move from overwhelm into regulation and from default into choice? Get your breath under control. It's where I started. Then name the actual soul need. What do you actually need right now? And then start using Rise times 3. Is it something you need to do for yourself? Is it something you need to do for the us? Or is it something you need to do daily to help embody? And listen carefully. At the beginning, it's mostly going to be you while working on the us and incorporating it daily. So you're like doing all 3 unilaterally, but you got to be really mindful of choosing the us and the daily over the self, right? Okay. So here are a couple of check-ins that you can do, or a few questions you can ask yourself. Okay, and this is under Rise Daily. Because remember, you have self, us, and daily. There are 12 words, 12 definitions, and 3 different parts to Rise. That's why it's Rise times 3. So the daily is, okay, first off is remembrance. Who am I without the strong one mask? Or the do-it-all mask? Or the people-pleaser mask? Or the yes woman mask? Or the fill-in-the-blank mask, okay? Mine's the strong one mask. The I is intuition. What is my energy telling me that I need right now? This is huge. Right now is key here. It's not later. It's not at a later time when you are convenient. It's not in a week or 3 weeks or 5 weeks. The only thing I would say on that is maybe a week or 2 would be like a, 3-night getaway at a hotel by yourself that I do every quarter with myself to recalibrate away from everyone. No touching, no talking, no answering questions, no helping, no being part of the day-to-day, no taking care of the animals, no touching the animals, like not touching anyone else. Like, I'm not being stimulated at all except for what is going on in my environment that I am controlling 100%, right? Like, yes, that might be a 2 or 4 week out like plan, but there's something you can give yourself right now in the intuition that your energy is telling you that you need. So your energy might be like, you need time to yourself, but it needs to be a hell of a lot more than 1 day. Well, you can give yourself hours now, shut out from the world, and someone else can handle it, and then plan that 3 nights. Okay, what is my energy telling me that I need right now? The S is self-responsibility under the daily Rise. And so where am I betraying my body to serve someone else's comfort? Where am I betraying my body to serve someone else's comfort? Now be mindful. It doesn't mean like you're running around literally. Because if your body is turning in knots, your heart is racing, you are getting upset, da-da-da. It could be any of those things that you're betraying your body in. It doesn't have to mean eating healthy or physically giving of your body. It could be how you're destroying your body inside to serve someone else. And then the E is evolution. Can I let this exhaustion become the doorway into my new self? Or am I going to let it continue to kill my soul self? Can I let this exhaustion become the doorway into my new self? Or am I going to continue allowing it to kill my soul self? So, first question, who am I without the strong one mask? Or who am I without the blank one mask? Whatever you wear as a badge of honor and the thing that you do that you're holding too much of and has you over capacity is what fits in that blank instead of strong if strong isn't the thing that connects with you. What is my energy telling me I need right now? Where am I betraying my body to serve someone else's comfort? And can I let this exhaustion become the doorway into my new self? Or will it continue to be what kills my soul? Okay? So now it's time to rewrite your identity. All right? So I want you to answer those questions in a journal. Like, if you're really going to fucking do this, that's what season 4 is all about, right? Love me more. So do it. This isn't a podcast you just listen to. Remember, I said this in, the launch episode. It's like, this isn't just a podcast that you listen to. This isn't a podcast for motivation. This is a podcast for transformation, embodying the rise and stepping into the royalty, the power, the queen soul that you are, and choosing your fucking self. Okay? This is about conscious disowning of your survival self, outgrowing that mask, and releasing it. Okay? So what I'm about to show you, or releasing the mask that's there. So what I'm about to show you is, or walk you through, I should say, is how to do this. And you could speak this or write this, but you've got to do it with absolute soul truth. Dear Exhaustion, I used to think you meant that I was failing. I confused being needed with being loved. I no longer carry what isn't mine. And my identity is no longer in what I hold. It's in how I rise. Okay? Speak that / write it with soul truth. I highly recommend that you write it. Okay? And then, I always say this, like this phrasing, right? Go ahead and burn it. Like, you don't need to keep it. Thank you for teaching me the lessons I needed to learn. I release you now. Thank you, goodbye. The whole time it's burning. All right? Dear Exhaustion, I used to think you meant I was failing. I confused being needed with being loved. I no longer carry what isn't mine, and my identity is no longer in what I hold. It's in how I rise. Burn it while saying, thank you for teaching me the lessons I needed to learn. I release you now. Thank you, goodbye. Here's the truth. You weren't too much. You were too alone in your too much. Exhaustion, it's not sacred. It's your soul screaming, come home. Okay? So go back and do those journal prompts. Like, save this, sit down, do it today. Do the journal prompts. Write that out, that Dear Exhaustion letter, and burn it, right? And then either share with me in the Star Guided Soul Healing community, or right here in the podcast, you could leave a comment. How did it feel? How did this episode help you? How did it connect with you? I want to know. I read all the comments. I really want to be with you, walk with you on this journey. And the only way that I can do that, though, is if you let me know you listened. You let me know how it impacted you. And you let me know how you're moving, what you're doing, and how this either lit a fire or pissed you the fuck off. Maybe you're not going to listen to the podcast anymore, right? Maybe you're not a queen who's ready to rise and you still want to make excuses. But one thing that I want to tell you is you don't have to let anyone go in your life in order to do this until it gets to the point that they don't want to rise with you and they want to drag you down with them. But sometimes that's going to take time for you to get them up to speed with the version of you that you are now. You can't expect them to do that instantly. And God knows I would love that because I'm impatient. But what I've learned is I trained people to love me this way for this long and to operate with me this way for this long. So I need to take the time to teach them what my soul truly needs. Not what my mind and heart need, but what my soul truly needs. While letting them know that I give them full permission that if this doesn't work for them, if they don't want to do this, if they feel disconnected from this and they don't want to walk this out in life with me, that I release them in love and I appreciate them for everything and that I just choose me. So here's the deal. If they don't want to walk it out, it's not anger, right? It's not, battle and fighting. It's that letting go and love, because you can love someone and not be with them. But you can't love yourself while someone else is tearing you down, whether they mean to or not. You can't love yourself and feel worth something when you're holding too much and you're over capacity and you're exhausted. You can't. Hear me. You can love them and not be with them, but you can't love you while someone else is tearing you down, whether subconsciously, inadvertently, intentionally. And what I mean by tearing you down, I don't mean literal emotional abuse. We can all recognize that. I mean in feeling emotionally unsafe because you want to communicate with them and you want to share, but they get defensive or they disregard or they dismiss your feelings because they're not growing into somebody who can hold that. See, it's not your job to hold your partner and everyone else all of the time. There has to be people there that can hold you. And I have two beautiful partners that hold me in different ways. And I am a lot of a beautiful queen with a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge and just a lot to hold. I am not too much. However, I do know that between the two of them, they hold me well. It doesn't mean that I don't hold one to high standards and then, the other one just doesn't have to. No, they're Rise by 3, they're G-Force, they're AUAS. Like, it's locked in. That is a requirement to be my partner, right? So you gotta rise to those levels in your version of that, right? So what I'm saying is I've had to learn to see, like, this one doesn't need to hold me like that one does. However, what I need from both is rise times 3. Because that literally is me. I need AUAS or the conversations and relationship is destructive, right? So I realize these things. I bring these things to you. I share these things with you. Please, for the love of God, don't just listen to this podcast. Embody it. Embody this. Choose yourself so completely that nobody gets to question your worth again. Extend to your soul the same mercy you once gave away to people who fucking dropped it. And stop shrinking to be chosen by people who can't even hold you. You're not a placeholder. You're the fucking revolution. So show up, speak up, and burn the damn box. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and this is your invitation to rise.